What is going on for WrestleNetics? I am Justin here tonight. I've got the current UWE light heavyweight champion Rika Wildee to the guest. Welcome, Rika Wildee.
Well, I want to start this show off by saying, unfortunately, I am no longer the
Oh,
UWE light heavyweight champion. There's been a few hiccups in my career, and I am moving forward, doing other things as of now, so I had to relinquish the title for
mm,
unseen circumstances. But I do want to say that that isn't going to stop the Barker of the Bazaar on pursuing every wrestling bout that he can get his hands on.
all right. That's huge news here on my podcast. So my first question is going to be something easily. How does Rika Wildee came alive?
Well, Rika Wildee started just like I've seen a bunch of other characters start by doing the promos. I stumbled upon the VOH. There's a certain promo artist that goes by the name of Alpha, and he reached out to me after I dropped my very first wrestling promo as, at the time, the Jester of the Wicked, Rika Wildee. That was my very first little toss up of the character as a whole. But I joined the VOH and started watching promos and watching these guys that I see set behind the screen and really develop a character. And it made me want to dig a little bit deeper. So the more Rika Wildee came to life, the more the screen took hold and the bright lights of the carnival really shined upon the character that you see before you now. I started in the VOH and became the Barker of the Bazaar.
Wow, interesting story here. So, this is now a rhetorical question here. So, as I see the whole costume itself, your gear here, uh, how long does it take to actually get into the gear for yourself, like with face painting, with the hat, with the jacket, everything?
Well, first off, I want to say this is a mask. This
Oh,
isn't it. Yes, it is a mask. And I had it specifically designed to fit and mold to my face so that it does seem like it's more of a face paint because it fits my facial structure.
see, that's
But
the illusion here.
as far as how long it takes me to get into gear, I would say about 15 minutes or so, as far as
Wow.
lacing my boots and putting on my jacket and layering up and doing all the things that I have to do to really present myself as the character that the crowd expects me to be.
Mm. So we spoke a lot about the promo world and the VOH. So how did you came originally to the promo world, to VOH, to from being a promo artist to the president of the Inferno division?
Yes, well, honestly, like I said before, Alpha, one of the originals of the VOH, the Voice of Honor. You can find it, the Wrestling Boiler Room on Facebook. But Alpha reached out to me after I dropped my very first promo. I wasn't even part of any groups yet. I wasn't part of any feds yet. I just decided to drop a promo because I'd never done one before. So I made my first little promo. I shared it to some different wrestling groups, not promo groups, but just wrestling groups, and Alpha happened to be one of those groups. And he reached out to me and asked me had I ever promoted competitively before, and I told him I hadn't. And he asked me to check out the Wrestling Boiler Room. And once I checked out the Wrestling Boiler Room and really saw what those talents over there were bringing to the table, I knew that I had to be a part of it. So I started dropping my own little promos and kind of making my own character and developing and things like that. And then over time, it just became this whole world, the carnival, that I can now portray to all the people through the screen of the VOH.
Okay, that's a good answer here. My next question is something that I'm always gonna ask here. You know that I came from the Europe and you around here from the USA. Um,
Right?
did you see a difference between the American indie scene and the European indie scene?
In a sense, I do, but I think it's one and the same. The American indie scene, they have, in my opinion, a bunch to learn. I haven't got to watch as much European indie scene, but as far as the repetitive move cycles and things like that, it gets to where it's called choreograph. You know, people can call it before it even happens. And I want to make sure that people still have that little mystery about what's the next move, what's the next setup, what's the next spot, you know, and that is what it takes to really get over in the indie scene. But in America, I see it all the time, whether I'm on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or wherever I'm watching these different indie matches. I see it all the time. Things become a little bit more cookie cutter and choreographed, and it takes the mystery away from it, you know. So I think if we step back and really start working on different sequences and different things like that, that it could really bring forth a new generation of wrestling fans, because they don't expect what normal wrestling fans expect to see in a wrestling match, because it's still an era of mystery, you know.
Yeah. My next question is, what's your current take on the wrestling in 2022, like with the current WWE sequence and the AEW sequence? Did you catch it up with your massive bookings that you have?
Well, with the WWE stuff and my personal, you know, being a wrestling fan, that is what draws us all to becoming professional wrestlers, is just being a wrestling fan. But watching WWE and seeing the current product, I think it is a beautiful thing that Triple H is doing with the current product, as far as pushing the guys he's pushing and doing what he's doing with the company as a whole. It makes guys my size, because I'm not that big of a man. I know that. I'm really not that big of a, I'm not a super heavyweight and all that kind of stuff. So it really puts a light on smaller guys to see them being pushed, like Finn Balor and Ricochet and others and others and others. You know what I'm saying? Like, seeing those style of guys and those smaller guys be pushed the way they're being pushed, it really makes guys like me want to push harder, because if they can do it, I can do it, you know?
Mm, yeah. Mm, my next question is, what is your take on the most beloved scene in the wrestling history, the IWC?
The IWC.
Yes.
You know what? I've never done this in a podcast before, but I'm going to pass.
It's totally fine. It's really totally fine. So this category, I love this one. It's the Fatal Four Way Rapid Fire question. I have four rapid fire question for you, and you
Yep.
need to answer simply that. So number one, the most overhyped finisher.
The most overhyped finisher, the super kick.
Is standard answer. The most overrated pro wrestler currently.
Roman Reigns.
The most underrated pro wrestler.
The most underrated, Jungle Boy.
Ooh, oh. And last but not least, favorite wrestler of all time.
Eddie Guerrero. Point
Oh,
blank. Point blank.
perfect point on that one. Okay, so my next question is, how did you ever became into the pro wrestling world? How does Rika Wildee came into the transition of the from the promo wrestling into the professional wrestling?
Well, like I said before, doing the promos and things like that, it really helped me develop the character. So by the time I really decided and jumped off into the pro wrestling side of things and in actual in-ring competition, I already had the character developed. So there really wasn't much for me to do other than to learn how to wrestle. I had already
Mm,
learned how to portray myself to the fans and portray myself on screen and portray myself as the character. But I just needed to sharpen up and learn how to wrestle, you know.
mm,
So once I did that, I knew that kind of the sky was the limit, because I was already 2 steps ahead of the game. Not that I didn't have a crap ton to learn, because I'm still learning. Every day I get on screen or every day I get in that ring, I'm still learning. But that's the thing. If you ever decide that you've learned it all, then you might as well give it up, because nobody in this business should remain unteachable. You should learn from everybody that you come in contact with. Every time you get in the ring with somebody, every time you talk to someone who's a more of a veteran than you or has been in the business longer than you should pick everybody's brain anytime you can, just because there's so much to learn inside the business. And that's what I'm here to do.
True words, yes, for real, true words. So let's go straight forward to the to your actually first title win, the UWE light heavyweight title win. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, building up to that was me and Xavier Storms, which is X Storms now, but we had built it for probably 4 or 5 months off and on, matches after matches after matches, and once these it finally come to a head. He had got disqualified one time. I snuck a win one time, and then when we finally went to do the final title match, I ended up hitting him with the big top and getting the 1, 2, 3 and becoming the new UWE light heavyweight champion. Like I said, some things happened, and I'm off pursuing other things, so I had to relinquish the title. Let them do their thing. But I'm still out. I've got a show in Texas, in New Braunfels, Texas, on November 27th. I've got a show, Texas Wrestling Entertainment, on November 19th. And then I just got a call today that I'm going to be in Stranglehold Wrestling on February 24th and 25th of 2023.
Wow.
So, wow. I mean, hey, it's stacking up, man. Business has never been better, and we're pushing, trying to make this whole carnival shine to the world. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, I doing always my homework before I came even up to the podcast here, and I've seen a lot of great stuffs from you. So please check out Rika Wildee wherever you can.
Thank you.
Can we see those matches also anywhere on stream? For those guys like myself, is sitting in the European anywhere.
Yes, there are a few that you can check out. Pro Wrestling 360, or it's Wrestling 365 on the Roku. It's a Roku channel. You can check that out. The UWE has a channel, and some of my matches are on there. You can check out Rika Wildee on YouTube. You can Google me and all this kind of stuff. And I think it's really cool to be an original character, because I mean, I've searched all over the internet and there's not another Rika Wildee anywhere. So I mean, that's rare. So you can Google me and all of my stuff pops up first. So it's pretty cool.
That's true.
Everything pop up.
Yeah, that's true. That's completely true. My next question is like I would say a bit private one. If somebody just came up to you and said, "Hey, I want to become a pro wrestler," what is the first advice that you're gonna give to them?
Mouth shut, ears open.
Simple one.
Because if you can't listen, you can't learn. And people who come in thinking that they've watched WWE for 20 years or whatever, and then they think that they know it because they've watched it and they've done it on a trampoline or done it in the backyard or things like that. We've all been there, done that. But inside the wrestling business, there's a lot more into it than what you see on TV. There's a lot more to learn. There's a lot more strategy to it than you see on TV. So if you're going to talk to someone about becoming a professional wrestler, or you're going to a training academy to see about becoming a professional wrestler, please just go in with your mouth shut and your ears open and learn all you can.
Yeah. My next question is here. What is your favorite match that you in your young career ever worked? Is there any favorite matches that you have?
I've got two. One is the solo match that I did with Gatekeeper in Marshall, Texas. We had a kendo stick match. And yeah, and it was pretty intense, and it was fun. And I mean, I've known Gatekeeper for quite some time now, so finally getting that closure, and after all the things that we've done in the past, and getting that closure to have those matches, even though we're 1-for-1 now, and we eventually gotta break the tie, but It was a fun match, and that's probably one of my favorite matches. But my overall main favorite match is probably when I went and worked for JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Wow.
I went and worked Bloody Mania this past year at the Gathering of the Juggalos, and it was insane. There was 17,000 people there. It was it was amazing. It was wild. I got to meet some amazing other wrestlers. Madman Pondo. I got to meet Necro Butcher. I got to meet Superhuman. There was a bunch of people there. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Wow. Okay. So we've got time for one final question. You already mentioned that a bit. So, what is going to be your next matches that you are most looking forward?
Well, my next match coming up, like I said, is in Texas Wrestling Entertainment in Kingsville, Texas on November 19th. It is going to be an amazing event, and I would love for anybody around that area to come and check out the Barker of the Bazaar, Rika Wildee, and see what the carnival's got to offer to them. Now, the next show is going to be November 27th in New Braunfels, Texas. Alliance Championship Wrestling. Rika Wildee versus Twisted the Clown in a ladder match. It's going to be one for the ages, and I know you don't want to miss it. And then February 2023, as of today, yeah, Stranglehold Championship Wrestling has booked the Barker of the Bazaar to go against one of their vets over there, and it's going to be quite the time. So I want you guys, if you're in around Georgia, you can come and check out. If you get a hold of some of the other Georgia guys in promo land, you can come and check out Rika Wildee live and in person, and possibly get a picture or a little autograph. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Do you have some last words for the European fans?
Yes, always pursue your dreams. Always push for all you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Anything that you want to do in this world, you're able to do. The only one that's stopping you is you. And there's one thing that I say after every single time I get off screen, and you know what it is, Mr. Sir. Beyond the big top, the carnival awaits.
Okay, with that last words, we're gonna end this interview here. Thank you, Rika Wildee, for checking out here on the interview. I would like to see you next time. Wisst ihr was, ich könnte jetzt eigentlich auf Deutsch sprechen. Wir sehen uns nächste Woche wieder zu der Crown Jewel Preview hier. Und seid euch sicher, liked, abonniert und teilt das kräftig hier. Und wir sehen uns nächstes Mal wieder. Ciao.